Portugal's ambassador to the EU, Nuno Brito, said today that it was wrong to accuse Bulgaria of obstructing the enlargement process. Is Portugal taking part in the dispute between Skopje and Sofia? What do you think?
No. Well, first of all, I must tell you that I speak in my own name. I don't speak in the name of the Portuguese government, which I don't belong to for a long time. But what I know from the position taken by Portugal all along this period is that Portugal is very much in favor of maintaining and the process of accession of Northern Macedonia to the European Union, that we will try, as much as I know, during our presidency, to deblock a little bit what happened during last year, in particular the reticences created in a certain moment to the process. I don't dispute what my dear friend Nuno Brito said, but I realize that there is a debate inside the European Union regarding this process, and particularly that there was a political case created in Bulgaria on which is also linked to the internal problems, as much as I know, not from the Portuguese government, but I know that from the press. So we very much expect during these 6 months is to get a solution, and in particular a solution that could deblock this process, which is also linked with the accession of Albania. So the position of Portugal during all the negotiations of the enlargement in the past has been very clear, with different governments, with different political cycles. We were all the time, since the very beginning, very much favorable to the enlargement of the European Union for the Central European and Eastern European countries, but also Balkan countries. Portugal consistently, all along these years, has been in favor of the enlargement. We consider that enlargement it's a factor of stability for Europe, and in particular in the case of Balkans, it's a factor to reinforce stability in the Balkan area.
After the Bulgarian veto on Macedonia, some foreign experts said that Sofia received silent support from certain countries. What's your opinion about this?
Well, I don't know details of negotiation, but I know that the German presidency was very much involved on trying to deblock the process, trying not to decouple the process of Macedonia to the process of Albania. And as much as I know, and this is from the press, the Portuguese position as a new presidency will go along with the lines that were followed by the German presidency. So we will do our best in order to deblock the process. But obviously it depends very much on the position of different member states. As you know, one single member state may create a problem for any kind of enlargement, and you know that from the past very well.
How do you assess the behavior of Bulgaria, given that it has submitted requests that appears to violate basic European principles?
Well, I cannot comment on that. I don't know. I don't know the details of that process, and I don't know the details of the arguments presented by Bulgaria. Each member state is, I would say, free in a way.
Macedonian identity, the language, etc.
This is, I know the arguments, but on in general terms, not in detailed terms. And I also know that this is a problem linked with internal problems in Bulgaria, and it's linked with a certain political dispute in Bulgaria. You need to realize, that's my reading of situation, that we are going in Bulgaria in a period, a political internal period. We have elections in, I think, in March. So most probably the Bulgarian position is also linked with that. But I cannot comment on detail, because I don't know the problem on detail. The only thing that I know is, and that's for sure, is that the Portuguese position will be very much favorable to deblock the process and to try to go along with the negotiations.
Enlargement is not one of the priorities of the Portuguese presidency in this term. Does this mean that nothing will happen this 6 months presidency?
No, you need to realize that a presidency of the European Union, it's a mixture of a national agenda and to go along with it, with what it is in the European Union pipeline. So it's a compromise. And as you know, the agenda of the presidency is also linked to this group of three countries that make successive presidencies. So we followed these three lines. On the top of that, we have the pandemic, and we have also the need for putting in practice this economic and financial package, which will obviously be our priority, because it is a priority of all European countries. So it's first of all to guarantee that the process of the vaccines is correctly applied, and that this process of the economic stimulus to the European economy, which is badly needed by everybody, it needs to be implemented. On the top of that, and that was already linked to the German presidency, we plan to make in May a summit about social dimension of the European Union. It's a accumulation of lots of efforts which has been done in the past, and we have in the external dimension of the European Union summit with India, which is very much linked to certain interests of the European Union in the global area. But look, I wouldn't read the fact that the enlargement it's not on the top of the agenda, for example, as it was when I was a member of the government 20 years ago, because we had in that moment 10 countries trying to enter in the European Union. But I think that the enlargement has been projected in the different presidencies all along these last years. Maybe not with the pace which in the past it was as a priority to the European Union, but I don't see any kind of reticences, apart from those which were created in a certain moment, trying to get more substantive deepening of the negotiations. But I don't see that there is a sort of a blockage or even an artificial blockage to put problems to the enlargement. I think from the Portuguese point of view that the position of Northern Macedonia in what concerns the enlargement and the European Union position, I think it's very positive. Obviously, we have some obstacles, as we had in the past in other negotiations and in other enlargements.
Very often, small but determined country makes progress in the EU integration process. According to your experience, what will change Portugal in a positive direction for the future of EU?
We don't. A president of the European Union doesn't control the substance of the negotiations. We obviously we share the negotiating teams, but it is up to the European Commission to assess how far the different dossiers has been fulfilled or not. So we cannot say from our own side that we conclude on that direction or that. It is only on the opinion of the European Commission. It's relevant to the Council of Ministers to decide if the country has fulfilled the different aspects.